Dog not allowed to come in.
Did you know that we can't see, yeah?
Yeah, I understand.
And you are
but
taste
it's
of
not
India?
allowed to come in.
And what, can you tell us why they're not allowed in?
I can't explain you, please.
Well,
yeah?
why can't you explain?
I don't know why you are going.
Anybody else about? Any
No.
other manager?
No.
But your dog is allowed. I know that it's a guard dog.
I just, honestly, I just feel so humiliated. All I want to do is
All
go
right,
and have a bite
breathe.
to eat. No, but seriously.
Hi and welcome to new subscribers. Blind Girl Vlogs, or Siobhan, who's my wife, has asked me to come on and speak to you tonight because she's been upset by some of the comments surrounding our visit to the Taste of India restaurant in King's Lynn. Now, none of us have the right not to be offended, and people generally have the right to make offensive comments, and boy do people, to coin the phrase, rip the pants out of that one. Here's a little taster of what happened when we visited on Saturday. Evening all.
What's not allowed to come here?
What's not, sorry?
No, dog not allowed to come here.
Talk us through it. Let me understand what was not. Come on a minute. What's
Dog
not?
not allowed to come in. That's not allowed to come in.
Okay, let's talk. What, the guide dog? Do you know what they are?
No, dog not allowed to come in.
Guide dog's not allowed in?
I'm blind.
Wait a minute.
That's why you
Talk
come
us
in.
through. Talk us through. So we're not allowed in with the dog?
No, dog not allowed to come in. You don't understand.
To the vast majority of commenters, they've been fairly shocked that this would happen anywhere in 2021. But there have been those who have said that it was wrong to record it. Why were you recording? They specifically ask. They said, why didn't you ask to speak to the manager? Any other manager?
No.
And did the woman understand that it was a guide dog? So, the easiest one is, did we ask, or why didn't we ask to see the manager? Anybody else about? Any other manager?
No.
Some people asked, did you ever have any intention to go to an Indian restaurant at all? Well, during that last clip, the Bombay Indian restaurant in Stevenage, who always welcome us with our guide dogs, by the way, delivered my dinner. Now, that wasn't contrived, by the way. It was supposed to be an hour from now. It was super efficient delivery. So why did we go to an Indian restaurant with guide dogs? We do it all the time. It's probably our favourite food. Oli Khan is the chairman of the local Bengali Association, and he has the Surma Indian restaurant in the Old Town, and it's a brilliant restaurant. Highly recommend it. He has another restaurant in partnership with a fella called Tariq, which is called Spice Rouge in Stevenage Old Town. Again, it's another fantastic one. Sometimes we go to Raj Mahal, formerly known as the Red Fort, I think it was. Now, that was owned by Layak Chowdhury, but that's been taken over in the meantime. So as you see, we just regularly go to Indian restaurants. We do fundraising curry nights. So when some people in the comments have said, oh, well, you knew that a guide dog wouldn't be welcome in an Indian restaurant. To be honest, I struggle to deal with that attitude because it stereotypes people based on a background. And I can tell you hand on heart, we go to Indian restaurants all the time without issue with our guide dogs. Have we ever had issues in Indian restaurants or other restaurants? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, over 22 years of guide dog ownership, we've had issues at different points, but it's not our expectation that businesses are going to refuse to allow a guide dog in, which is unlawful. So then on to the question of why did you record? Okay, this is Siobhan's channel, this isn't mine. She records loads, and if you have a look at the history of the channel, I'd recommend the video that she did on Borough Market, sampling the food there, Sally Lunn's Buns in Bath, and there was another particularly, I would say, decent video on the National Railway Museum where we spoke about the food that they do there, and Betty's Tea Room in York. Like, in short, we do, and she does particularly, food videos all of the time. There were a few people, I think, quite legitimately asking why you would put this online and on YouTube rather than simply walking away and reporting it. The truth of the matter is you can't really simply report it to anybody. It's unlawful, but it's a civil matter, unlike cabs when refusing a guide dog is criminal unless somebody has a medical exemption certificate issued by their licensing authority. Remember too that, I've been a guide dog owner for 22 and a half years. Siobhan's been since 2003. We've been through this an awful lot. And I don't know whether the implication is that we should have these sorts of scenes and simply say nothing. One minute, you've got to call the police, but I think I'm going to wait here. Is that okay? I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to a customer who came up and shared her obvious upset about two blind people being turned away.
Excuse me, you are in the wrong. You cannot refuse a dog, a guide dog. It's called a service dog.
Thank you.
You cannot refuse a service dog. It's the law. You cannot refuse. Any other dog, you can. You cannot refuse what's called a service dog. whether it's a dog for people that are visually impaired, hearing impaired. The dog will just sit under the table as quietly as anything. It will be as unobtrusive, it will not bother you.
I just don't like discrimination of any sort.
Use the dog.
Don't mistake this chat as trying to justify the video. I'm very confident and happy with what we did and why, okay? And I'm going to come and talk a little bit about how it feels to be refused in just a second. But another couple of people said, well, it's illegal to record someone without their permission. Again, that's simply not true. You know, as a matter of decency and courtesy, you generally wouldn't record someone and stick them all over YouTube or anywhere else without their permission, but that's not legal, that's general courtesy. In this case, you see, what happened was that they'd refused us because of our guide dogs. And there are two considerations, and the first being the legal, which we'll come on to, and the second is how it makes you feel as a disabled person, as a blind person, to be turned away essentially because of your disability. Now, the legal one is that under the Equality Act 2010, it's essentially business owners are required to make a reasonable adjustment, such as waiving a no dogs policy, for instance, which means in effect that there are very few circumstances in the world where you simply cannot, or at least in the UK, I'm talking about England and Wales in particular, where you can actually refuse access to a guide dog. Saying you're scared of dogs or whatever, it doesn't cut it, because there are other things that you can do. And I'd like to come back to the issue as was the woman scared, okay? But let me put it to you like this. When you get refused, you don't much care what the law of the land is. You know it's unlawful. It just feels that you know, we're being discriminated against because of a protected characteristic. You know, disability along with race and gender, religion, belief, sexuality, all of these things, they're all protected. Now, and I'm just wondering whether some of the people who were leaving comments in Siobhan's video, and they have upset her, there's no doubt about that. So like, be proud, be happy if that's what you were looking to do. I just kind of wonder that, you know, and I'm not trying to compare, I'm really not trying to draw a parity, but say for example, somebody said you can't come in because you're a woman, or you can't come in because you're gay, or you can't come in because of the colour of your skin. Ask yourself this question: would we be seeing comments below saying, yeah, okay, they've said no, but you know, should you be recording them? You know, they didn't realise that they couldn't say no, whatever. Would you do that? Rhetorical. I'll leave you to that one. I wanted to return to the video here because, in all fairness, the man who works here, people are assuming is the manager in the comments below. That might be a patriarchal assumption, though. Who knows? Did make an attempt. He eventually became aware. We were told there was no manager because there was such a ruckus, and this was maybe 4 minutes in. He'd come out to try and resolve the situation. Had we have not stayed and said, well, why are you refusing us? We never would have had this conversation. Hey,
No, that's fine. They're fine. No, she
what
didn't
know.
know.
Say is we're going to go, but can I just say thank you for your time? We appreciate it.
No, she doesn't know. If you want to, that's fine.
No, it's all right. So
All right, okay, then.
can I just say the response? No, just 1 minute. The response we just had
To
from
me,
this
no, I'm not
lady.
going now. That's a guard dog. That's a guard dog.
Yeah.
They're allowed.
Absolutely horrendous.
She didn't know.
No, I know. Yeah. But so it won't be mixed. So the thing is, I'm a bit more.
I'm not going
to. Yeah, but your attitude was disgusting, madam, because we. It didn't feel very impressive that the training had not been given in the first place. But you know, I think again, just my opinion, the man was trying to resolve what he'd come across at this point. But when people are saying it was quickly resolved, it wasn't. This was about 4 minutes in. It was the attitude more than anything else of the female who made us feel so little and so small. And even during the conversations he was having, she didn't seem happy about the fact that a guide dog was allowed in. She seemed really rather angry about it. And there was just no way at this point we were going to trust them to eat food. Now, nobody, by the way, is trying to stop anyone going to this restaurant. Nobody wants to put them out of business. That's a total myth. What this is about is saying, look, this happens not just here, it happens in other places as well. And do you know what? It's not controversial, this isn't a matter of opinion. There's not, some people think this, some people think that. The law says that these refusals mustn't happen.
Kind of dog, other dog. We normally, other people complain. So obviously,
So politely said, just, I explained it's a guide dog.
Yeah.
And I said that we can't see, and she was really shouting at me. And you don't need to take my word on it because it's recorded, yeah?
Okay. Yes.
All right, listen, can I just say on a personal note, so I appreciate you coming out and trying to resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
Please educate the lady, that is a really unpleasant thing. We don't like discrimination.
Just imagine if it was your mother.
Right, don't worry, let's move on. Others have raised questions about culture. And for me, actually, I'm much more sympathetic to this. And again, speaking personally as somebody who believes in equality, genuinely believes in equality, by the way, genuinely believes in diversity, genuinely believes in understanding before being understood, and who believes in empathy. So I've had issues where there have been cultural issues, where we've had people say no dogs are allowed in, and then a manager's come along and explained, and it's not ideal, you should train staff, but I totally understand that. And in fact, I don't want to say his second name, but because he's a really nice guy. There's a friend of mine, I would say, called Abel, I'll use his first name, who was a cab driver, and he wasn't a friend of mine, he was a cab driver who turned me down because he said, to quote him, he'd sort of misunderstood what Islam had said about it, because guide dogs in, as I understand it, what was explained to me, the Muslim Council of Britain put out a fatwa back in 2003 to say that guide dogs are welcome. So where there are cultural issues, I think regardless of what the law says, it's incumbent on us as decent human beings to take a moment and think, okay, how can we get around this problem? But I'm going to put it to you that that wasn't possible in this case. Let's just take another quick look. So for me, when you're watching this, what my issue first and foremost was the attitude and the way that I was being spoken to, and the fact that people say, oh, maybe she was scared. I mean, I didn't perceive that she was scared. Some people say maybe visually was she scared. I'll let you judge on that. But she kept coming back, and she was about 2 feet in front of the guide dog. So I don't know. Comments below, no problems with that at all. Let's just take a look. Did you know that we can't see? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
And you are
but
taste
he's
of
not allowed
India?
to come in.
I'm not sure if you can imagine the idea that you're going through life, you have a disability, it's a pretty serious disability, it's blindness actually. You want to go out and get dinner. We'd been to the local hospital in King's Lynn visiting a critically ill relative. We wanted food, we genuinely just wanted dinner, right? In fact, when we were refused for that restaurant, we went 2 doors, 3 doors, 4 doors down, whatever it was, to a Caribbean place, and it was absolutely fantastic. And you're told no essentially because of a disability, because of a protected characteristic. And this is all fine. It's not fine, but this is all stuff you can deal with. But it's quite amazing the number of people say, hang on a minute, oh, it's harsh to record. Now I'm going to put another rhetorical to you. You can comment on it below. If we posted, this is hypothetical, if we posted on here, here's CCTV of somebody who's taken a package that was going to be delivered for us, and it contains, let's say an iPod, or a Samsung phone, or an LG TV, whatever it is. And we filmed that and we said, look at this person breaking the law. I don't think many people would say, yeah, good on the thief, would they? I'm not drawing a parallel with the moral turpitude aspect there. But it feels pretty reprehensible when you're in that situation. It is unlawful. I can't think of any other kind of discrimination. I mean, I really can't. Where it's, yeah, it's her choice. Or how can you record? Or poor lady. So I kind of throw it to you to have a think about, okay? But I'm going to say to you in sincerity, every fibre of who I am is anti any form of discrimination. I actually find it quite uncomfortable when people are saying in the comments that you knew it would be a problem because it's an Indian restaurant. That's not my experience. The majority of Indian restaurants we've been to, vast majority, overwhelmingly, nearly all in fact, have not had issues. And where there have been issues, they're insignificant compared to the number of restaurants you would go to without an issue. Okay, so there were particular hotspots. So Brick Lane was a particular issue that I went and did some filming down professionally once upon a time to highlight. So I'll leave that thought with you. And then the other question, when people say it's wrong to go out and film just to capture people, that really wasn't what we were doing. We were doing a vlog. But actually, I'm not even going to get into that, because if we wanted to go out as private individuals, which we are and were in that context, if we wanted to go out and test whether we're allowed in with our guide dogs or whether someone's breaking the law, that's perfectly legitimate, okay? It's not what we're doing, but I'm not going to get into arguments about it, and I would suggest Blind Girl Vlogs Siobhan wouldn't either, because it's perfectly legitimate to do that. We were just after a bit of dinner. So thank you to everybody for commenting. By all means, if you want to have a view on it, it's absolutely fine. Now, we're not victims of life, right? We get out and we live life. But I just want you to imagine what it would be like to be the victim of that kind of discrimination, and then open up the computer to all these sorts of people, telling you your publicity hounds or whatever. We just wanted a dinner. This is so much stress, it's unreal, okay? And if you feel good upsetting, you won't upset me, by the way, I've got a very thick skin, you can bring it on. But if you feel good upsetting essentially the victims of unlawful practice, you go ahead, you know, we've no right not to be offended. But I tell you, absolutely hand on heart, we're doing nothing more than wanting our dinner. That's all we want to do. I'm going to play the video in its entirety. By all means, you can leave your comments below. But remember that the issue here wasn't just a simple misunderstanding. We've covered the fact that the lady, you know, was asked for a manager and she said no. I'm not sure we did cover fully. Did she understand it was a guide dog? Let's take a look. Did you know that we can't see, yeah?
Yeah, I understand.
And you are
but
taste
it's
of
not allowed
India?
to come in.
We've covered very fully lots of aspects of this story. And what I would say to you is, by all means, comment below. But before you comment and say, oh, it's terrible to record and all the rest of it, just imagine being in that position, dealing with blindness, which is quite a serious disability, and just being told you can't go somewhere essentially for a reason related to your disability. Thank you for watching. Blind Girl Vlogs will be back soon. We'd love your comments. We'd love you to like, or you could dislike it. It's fine. It's not a problem. But we'd definitely like you to hit that subscribe button, and hopefully you understand what it was about. And it's not fun. I mean, taking the time to explain this isn't fun, but we hope that it made some sort of sense. So thank you for watching, and she'll catch you in the next one.
This is Blind Girl Vlogs. Welcome. We're in Kings Lynn, and we're just about to go and see if we can get a bite to eat at this restaurant.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Sorry. Evening all.
What's not allowed to come here?
What's not, sorry?
No, they're not allowed to come here.
Talk us through it. Let me understand what's not. Come on a minute. What's
Dog
not?
not allowed to come in. What's not, sorry? That's not allowed to come in.
Okay, let's talk. What, the guide dog? Do you know what they are?
No, dog not allowed to come in.
Guide dog's not allowed in?
I'm blind.
Wait a minute.
That's fine.
Talk us through. So we're not allowed into the dog?
No, dog not allowed to come in. You don't understand.
But did you know that we can't see, yeah?
Yeah, I understand.
And you are
but
taste
it's
of
not
India?
allowed to come in.
You taste of India, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay, I have to tell you, politely, we can't persuade you, right? Definitely not allowed in.
No.
Okay, I have to tell you, firstly I'm recording you. You are definitely breaking the law. So we're going to go. You're breaking the law. You can't say no to a guide dog. So what we're going to do, no, let me just explain. Because you said no, that's all right, don't worry.
Sorry, you know.
That's all right, do be sorry. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to just let you know. I am going to report you for the
That's
breaking
fine.
the law.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
allowed to come in. I said,
And what, can you tell us why they're not allowed in?
I can't explain you, please.
Well,
yeah?
why can't you explain?
I don't know why you are going.
I'm just going to wait till they come in. I'm just going to wait a minute. I'm just going to see if they'll change their mind a minute. Is anybody else about, please? Anybody else about? I don't want to, just give me a second. Anybody else about? Any other manager?
No.
All right, you better call the police. 1 minute, you better call the police because I think I'm going to wait here. Is that okay? 1 minute, just give us a second. If you want to call the police, is that okay? Do you want to call them? What I need your details to report you for the offence.
Excuse me, you are in the wrong. You cannot refuse a dog, a guide dog. It's called a service dog.
Thank you.
You cannot refuse a service dog. It's the law. You cannot refuse any other dog.
Yeah.
You cannot refuse what's called a service dog. Whether it's a dog for people that are visually impaired, hearing impaired, a dog will just sit under the table as quietly as anything. It will be as unobtrusive. It will not bother you.
I just don't like discrimination of any sort.
Refuse a dog. It is discrimination, and you will be in the wrong. Sorry to interrupt.
No, honestly, can I say we really appreciate it? Give us a second.
I would say
Give us a second, we've got a really helpful lady here, so thank you. Hey, how
No,
you
no,
doing?
that's fine. They're fine. No, she
What I was
doesn't
going to
know.
say is we're going to go, but can I just say thank you for your time, we appreciate it.
No, she doesn't know. If you want to, that's fine.
No, it's all right. So,
All right, okay, then.
can I just say, just 1 minute. The response we just had
To
from
me,
this
no, I'm not
lady,
going now.
response
That's
we've had from
guard
this
dog.
lady-
That's guard dog.
Yeah,
They're allowed.
absolutely horrendous.
She doesn't know.
No, I know. But so it won't be mixed. So the thing is, I'm a bit more.
You're not going to. I'm not going to visit you.
Yeah,
They're
but
allowed
your
to talk.
attitude was disgusting, madam, because we came in, we were very polite to you, we asked why.
No, that guide dog. She
Guide
doesn't know.
dog.
Sorry,
Yeah,
we do
that's right.
apologize
No,
for
that's
that.
right. Look, I'm, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to shift on. My wife's a bit more upset. We've had lots-
Let me ask you.
Yeah, by all means. But you have an attitude problem, madam.
Hello,
can I speak to one thing? I don't
Yeah,
know
let the gent speak, Dom,
here.
let
You know
the
what I
gent
mean?
speak.
Can I ask you one thing?
Let the
yeah?
gent speak.
I do follow the eyes, but she doesn't know. I'm here, but she should tell me. If
Yeah,
she
but-
follows eyes for that, but we don't know use it because normally dog not allowed. But your dog is allowed. I know that he's a guard dog, but she doesn't know. But she knows now. She follows eyes already.
She doesn't seem very happy, but look, we're going to dance.
Call, but I'm not sorry. Yes, you know later problem could work. She doesn't know. Look, she
Yeah,
can say
and
to
okay,
you.
but that's ignorance. You know,
I
as a
apologise.
business
Sorry.
owner, that's
No, ma'am,
as a
she
bus-
doesn't know.
Sorry.
Okay, as
Yeah.
a business owner, that is your responsibility to tell your staff. I completely understand.
No,
I'm
she
not,
doesn't know because what happened is last time we got a dog coming out, you know, the other dog, not that kind of dog, other dog.
Yeah.
We
But it's
normally,
really-
you know, other people complain. So obviously,
So politely,
people know that, yeah.
politely said, just, you know, I explained it's a guide dog.
Yeah.
it's-
And I
it's
said that we
really
can't see,
upsetting.
and she was really shouting at me. And you don't need to take my word on it
No,
because
no, no, no,
it's recorded, yeah?
Okay. Yes.
All right, listen, can I just say on a personal note, so I appreciate you coming out and trying to resolve it. Please educate the lady, that is a
Please,
really
yeah.
unpleasant thing. We don't like discrimination.
Just imagine
I
if it
fight
was your
all.
mother, you
Right,
know?
don't worry, let's
Or
move
your
on.
auntie.
So
Understand that,
on a
okay.
personal
That's fine,
level,
yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you
Oh,
so
okay, I
much.
apologize for that.
Thank
okay,
you.
Thank
No,
you. Bye.
thank you, I appreciate it. Let's carry on, but you're still recording. So before you move any further, do you want to just quickly tell us how you're feeling about that?
I just, honestly, I just feel so humiliated. All I want to do is
All
go
right,
and have a bite
breathe.
to eat. No, but seriously, it is something that is really, really.
So
honestly,
oddly,
it's so,
can I just say,
so
I'm sorry to put you
frustrating.
through that. This is the taste of India in King's Lynn. The gentleman did actually try his very best. It's not acceptable either, by the way.
I'm not saying
But
that he
her
didn't,
attitude
but
was disgusting.
It was, and I don't. why should I go and eat there?
We're
I'm
not
so
gonna.
upset
Let's
by
go and
it.
spend some money. We've got stacks of money in my pocket. Let's go somewhere else. Yeah. Listen.
But this is happening far too much.
Well, we will consider.
Something needs to be done about it.
Well, let's
I'm just
consider
so
it.
upset by it.
Let's consider it. From my point of view, I just want to go and eat somewhere, and they're idiots because they're going to miss out on their money, aren't they? So goodbye, Taste of India, King's Lynn.